Alright, well, who knows if that fixed anything or not. Oh, goodness. Alright. Let's try going back to the channel. Did this fix anything? We'll find out in a moment. Alright. So it looks like it has, in fact, been fixed. Wonderful. Alright, well, all I can do is wait for you guys to come in and start saying stuff in the chat. Like before, let me know how the stream is working. What's up, Pig Guy? Let me know if the stream and everything looks okay. I've literally never done this before, so you know, something. um, What's up? Hey, everybody. Also, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry for, like, the audio and stuff. Some PC noises. Yeah, that is probably my air conditioning. It's 94 degrees where I'm at, and turning it off is not an option, so sorry about that. I'm unfortunately having to stream from my phone because my internet sucks. Hello, Noel. Welcome. Welcome. It's good to see everybody. Basically, all that we're going to be here to do is talk about Pikmin stuff, so questions, discuss theories of your own or theories that I've uploaded in the past, anything like that. Hello. Welcome. This is definitely a lot more people than I thought would be here at the start, so that's exciting. I'm going to be able to go probably for about an hour or so for this stream, but since it seems like I've got everything situated now, we'll be doing these more in the future, so that'll be good. Hello, John, or Jean, I'm not sure, I'm sorry. It's good to see everybody. Nice. Alright, so if there are any Pikmin-related topics that you guys want to get started on, just drop it in the chat, and I will read it when it pops up. I mean, that's basically it. Oh wow, it is almost 8 p.m. where I'm at. Hello. Kason? Casson? I'm really bad at names, I'm sorry. It is good to see everybody here. I'm glad everybody could show up that's here. That's nice to see. Thoughts on, oh, I'm sorry. Thoughts on Pikmin 4 being in the timeline? It's 2 a.m. for you, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, guys. The time things are all over the place. My next video is probably going to be out tomorrow night. I don't want to disclose specifically what it's going to be on, but it is related to my last video, so I guess that's a little bit of a hint. Hello, Jello. I am assuming that's how your name is pronounced. Like I said just a moment ago, I'm really bad at names. It's really interesting that almost every single person in here is in a completely different time zone. That's pretty interesting. I mean, it's cool to see them. You gotta love it. Anyway, the question, let's see. Oh, I got it right, nice. So the question, thoughts on Pikmin 4 being in the timeline? It's a tough one, and this is like the most decisive topic that I think has been discussed across all of my comment section. What I would say is I truly believe that Pikmin 4 tells the story of the beginning of Olimar's adventure. It makes a lot of sense for that to be the case, but I don't think it is directly Pikmin 1. There are a lot of things to differentiate it from the original Pikmin 1. I don't even think it takes place between Pikmin 1 and 2, because again, there are a lot of things that remove Pikmin 4 from the original timeline, I think. So I would say that if you don't like the idea of calling Pikmin 4 a reboot, then maybe saying it's the first entry in its own timeline is the correct answer. That's probably what I think. It's like a mush of 1 and 2. Yeah, it kind of is, and that's what makes it hard for me to say it fits into the established timeline, because there are events combined from other games. There's elements to hint that things have been happen or like are about to happen or have happened already. So it's really messy to try and fit into the timeline we have, and I think the developers know that, which is why they said it's just up to each player. And based off of that, I'm choosing to believe it is the start of its own story, its own timeline. Yeah, you can interpret things in a way that fits. How is Louis the way he is? You're gonna have to clarify. There's a lot to Louis. That's a wonderful question. I think maybe a doctor or psychiatrist needs to answer. When do I think the timeline split for Pikmin 4 happens? I don't think there's necessarily a timeline split. I think we have an established timeline with Pikmin 1, 2, and 3, and those games exist exactly how they are. The events happen with no question. And then, separately, we have something new starting up, which is Pikmin 4. I don't think it's specifically connected to the old games, only referencing them. I agree too. I do agree that it would make sense to reboot it, because it is so old. Like, the original Pikmin game is about 20 years old, if not 20, possibly older than 20. So yeah, something that old deserves to have new life breathed into it, and I think that's what Pikmin 4 was. Candy Buddy, I'm assuming that's referring to the water wraith. Oh yeah, so yes, 21 to 22 years old. You said you just noticed Ochi. Yeah, Ochi is right here. And I don't think you can see it because of where the camera's situated, but I have the purple ice and winged Pikmin pins from the GameStop pre-order up there, and I have the red, yellow, and blue Pikmin pins over on this side. Why is the fun part of some games creating likely untrue theories? I don't know. I guess everybody interprets things their own way. I know when I make theories for myself, I try to implement as much information directly from the games as possible, to try and back up my points. Obviously, it's just theories, and none of it's meant to be taken as fact for me or for anybody else that makes theories. But sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes people are just going to disagree. You got the Nintendo eShop version. That is unfortunate. I don't think that came with any pre-order bonuses. So, any cracks in your onion theory that you could admit to? I would say the hardest thing to answer is going to be answered soon. A lot of questions and things that people have been presenting in the comments as problems are something that are going to be addressed in upcoming videos, because I have explanations for all of it, and I feel like all of it has significant enough evidence for me to tag it onto the theory to help answer questions that people have. So right off the bat, if something were presented to me, I could say like yes or no, it's a flaw, but for right now, the things I know about, I'm going to be addressing soon. Flamsy, what's up? Welcome to the discussion. Glad to have you. Um, so yeah, essentially, that's it. The main, I can't say the main issues that I have with it right now without spoiling upcoming videos. So I'm gonna stay away from going too far into the current issues that are awaiting being addressed. How far do you think parasite Pikmin could go? Like what parasitic Pikmin could control and could not? Hmm. Well, we've seen them control rock, ice, and Boldman. I'm assuming those all stem from the same like base parasite Pikmin. It's just the host that's different. Um, yeah, Pikmin 4 reboot discussion. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not ignoring the question. I need a minute to think about it. Um, hmm. I think if there were some sort of like metal or something like that, they could inhabit that. Spoiler alert, that's a type of Pikmin that's going to be in the Build a Pikmin series that follows that sort of path. If there were like mineral deposits or possibly even the like crystal stuff we see, I don't know. You're watching this while the power is out. That's nice. Congratulations. Hopefully none of your batteries die soon. Um, I think I think really anything that could be hollowed out and would like serve as a significant form of shell or host. Like I think the downy snagrets, like the little baby ones, are potential candidates. Um, like I said, the crystals possibly would. Like if there were like maybe knots of wood or something they could burrow into. I don't know. Do I have a fan turned on? Yes, I do. I'm running my air conditioner. It's 94 degrees where I'm at, so turning it off is not an option. It's super hot, and I'm not trying to have any sort of heat stroke in here because my house gets hot very quickly when the fans are not on. You think the Dondori Master is the one who brought Moss? I think so. That's really they make okay. It's a really interesting thought experiment to try and decide how Moss got there. A lot of what we are presented with in the game seems to try and make it seem like Moss was born there and was raised there, and um, I actually go into this in the same video I'm talking about that's coming up, but we I think we have enough evidence with the attempt to cure Moss alone that to say that Moss is in fact like a natural she was born there. Whether her species originates from there, that's debatable. I think she's very closely related to Ochi, but I think Moss specifically was born there simply because the cure doesn't work on her. So I think she's more closely related to a Pikmin being born there, I guess. And Olimar even says she shares some amount of DNA with Pikmin, so yeah, I think possibly the Sirehound and Moss are related. They even have very similar color palettes, with like the Sirehound looking obviously like a very old dog. It still has tinges of like green and dark blue in its fur, so I guess that's a possibility. Um, One thing that could break the Onion theory is that the Onion in Hey Pikmin was not in danger or deactivated. That's true, but one thing that could break that argument is the fact that I don't think Hey Pikmin happens at all. Um, yeah, I don't think I don't think it happens. A lot of the things we see from the game don't really make sense. I also refuse to believe that onions can leave PNF 404 and go to other planets, and I don't think the planet in Hey Pikmin is PNF 404. And because I refuse to accept that, and because the ending of the game says that Olimar awoke from his daydream, I'm fully accepting Hey Pikmin is not canon and therefore does not affect anything at all. Um, and it's probably going to reach even higher. It's already 96. Jeez, that is rough. VTV and Pig Guy collaboration win. I have no idea. I'm fully open to one though. What we know is Pikmin takes place on somewhat Earth, but is it really? I do think so, because in some depictions of Earth, or in some depictions of PNF 404, it really resembles Earth, or resembles, continents from Earth. I think, is it Pikmin 2 or 3, we get to see, a bigger scale of the Earth, and it looks very close to what we have right now with, identifiable continents? Yeah, that's the word. I'm sorry. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. So I think it is Earth, but I think there is a force on Earth that is causing rapid tectonic plate shifts. And that's why every time we go back, it seems like the landscape is somewhat different. Let's see, Pikmin 1, 2, then 3 happen. Hey Pikmin is a daydream, 4 comes next, and Kopai is in the cusp of another crisis. The logs can be explained by simply saying these are the characters' logs they've been keeping on all their adventures. Okay, the reason that I think Pikmin 4 tells the story of, the beginning of an adventure is because, we see that in, Pikmin 3, for example, Kopai discovers PNF 404. They find, fruit on it and stuff. They send, a sparrow there. You can see in the opening cutscene, they just send sparrows kind of, everywhere, and one eventually hits PNF 404. They find that there's fruit there, and they go there. I really think that the the captains, the crew that is on that planet getting fruit and stuff, I don't know. They don't reference a previous food crisis at all. They reference one that's coming up, and they already are showing signs of being low income, having to come and get these treasures to sell to buy food because it's already low. But there's no reference to a previous one whatsoever. It is commonplace for them to, eat up their food supply and move to another one, but it's clear by Pikmin 3 that there's not a lot of options left. That's why they send sparrows out. And it seems like, from just the text and the way they talk about the food crisis, it seems like it is a new food crisis to Kopai, at least in my opinion. Have you seen that the Mamuta and Smoky Frog have different scientific names when they're supposedly the same creature, just one is a malformed Mamuta? I have seen that, and I think it's really interesting. I think it's also really interesting that the Smoky Prog and the Sirehound are the only two things in the entire game that shoot that red stuff. I also think it's interesting that the Smoky Prog hatches from a giant egg, which is also known to contain large amounts of spicy spray or nectar. I think that's a weird connection, and I don't think they're directly related to Mamuta. I've never seen, I don't believe that giant of an egg came out of a Mamuta. It's the size of the Mamuta, Would I say the Smoky Prague is part of the crashes? That's hard to say. It's definitely mysterious and it's interesting in that its element is able to kill like every type of known Pikmin, but really I don't think we have enough information on it to say if it is capable of that or not. The genes could have mutated enough where it qualifies as a different species. I mean, possibly, but if the Mamutas are the ones laying the eggs, like, all of the base DNA is gonna be there. Like, I feel like there would be some traces in it to connect it, to even, make it relate to one another, but it doesn't seem like there is. I don't know if there even is any proof that they are related. I'm pretty sure Olimar just says he thinks it is. The Sparrow went in a straight line to PNF 404 from a celestial body pretty far away. The initial ones that scout for food, I seem to remember it bouncing off a few planets. Like, it goes to the right, it like bounces off a few, and like the second or third planet it hits is PNF 404. I don't remember it going in a direct line, but I do know that once the pod that identifies it gets there, they travel like in a straight, like, hyperspeed line to the planet. Is it just me, or am I already anticipating Pikmin 5? I'm not anticipating Pikmin 5, I'm anticipating Pikmin 4 DLC. Do you think in Pikmin 3 the humans died 100 years or later, or is it closer to Pikmin 4's time? I think it's hard to say. I think they intentionally make the humans like mysterious. It's the one thing that is vague enough to where we can kind of guess and kind of make assumptions, but we can't come to like any conclusions. Like, oh, see you later, John, but yeah, like, I feel like with a lot of things in the game, they give us enough clues to try and, like, piece it together ourselves, but the humans, like, always remain the most vague and mysterious part of like, the whole entire franchise. From the start until now, they remain mysterious. And Pikmin 2, like, if Pikmin 4 takes place at the very end, it is extremely strange that a lot of the items in Pikmin 2 are old, dilapidated, some of them are rusted, all of it, or at least a lot of it, seems aged or used to some extent, while almost every single treasure we collect and every single thing we see in Pikmin 4 is, like, pristine. That's just really weird. Colin looks old, but he's young. Shepard questions. What do you think this means? Shepard questions his hair, but it stayed the same. I don't know. I think it probably just means that Shepard hadn't paid that much attention to Colin. Your phone is boiling? Oh no. That's not good. Don't overheat your phone. That's not something that we want. Pikmin 5 will definitely be answering the questions in Pikmin 3. I think because of the way Pikmin 4 is kind of like a lot of similar events to Pikmin 1 and then like allusions to 2 and 3, I think 5 is going to be like a lot of events from 2 and then allusions to 3, because I think 2 and 3 probably happen relatively close to each other. Olimar and Louis don't seem to age all that much between the first and third games, like, if at all, so they probably all happen relatively close in time to each other. So Pikmin 5 might put the spin on it that they happen at the same time or like back to back, and that'll be like our um that'll because Pikmin 4 had like a two structure series, like the first structure of like saving Olimar, and then the second structure of like we have Olimar, now we need to track down Louis. Pikmin 5 could be like Olimar and Louis going to get treasure as the first structure, and then all the events we see from like Pikmin 3 kind of condensed down into the second structure. It's possible. Did you hear about the green onion and bean Pikmin? I know about the green onion, and it is part of the next video that's going to be uploaded. I'm going to be talking about it, so yeah. Why can't the stuff in Pikmin 4 be an artistic/stylish choice and not an actual lore choice? I mean, it absolutely could be, but the fact that they do that in the first place makes me wonder what's up with it. Clearly, they had no problem making things look old and aged in Pikmin 2, and if that's how things are meant to look, to, prove that time has passed, especially from 2 to 4, then it seems like things would only get older, and they don't. Like, they took the effort to make things look old in 2, and they took the effort to make things look new in 4. And while it very well could be a stylistic or artistic choice, the fact that they've gone out of their way to make things look old before makes me think they're not beyond that if it's important to the story or the feel of the game. What about the good ending of 3 where it says, where they say what caused the crashes? Do you think it's the Plasm Wraith or is it something else? I mean, I think it's the onions. I don't think it's the Plasm Wraith. I think the Plasm Wraith is an interesting enemy and a very tough one, and the fact that it is what it is makes me think it's somewhat related to the Pikmin somehow, but I don't think it's the one that crashes the ship. We really don't have evidence to say that it does, so I'm not entirely sure. At least not evidence that I'm aware of. The Glutton's Kitchen doesn't look old in 2. That's a cave, right? But, like, caves are interesting. There are also caves that are interior locations with wooden floors. There are caves in Pikmin 4 that go from, like, underground to in a house to, like, in a sewer to what looks like a basement. So, I don't think we can turn to caves for answers. They're like mysterious time portals that do not make sense. Concentrated glow sap? I'm not entirely sure what the concentrated glow sap comment is in relation to. After all parasitic Pikmin, this same cause. If so, wouldn't parasitic Pikmin without a host be a little resistant to something like ice? I don't know if it's just me, but I don't fully understand that question. I'm sorry. It's interesting they called Pikmin 4 Pikmin 4 if it was a reboot of 1. Nintendo was extremely vague on the canonness of Pikmin 4, so I was wondering why you thought that was. I think they do stuff like that just to try and make it, more mysterious. Like, it's clear. Somebody asked for spoilers or like a hint to the next video. It's about glow Pikmin. And I think it's... Oh my gosh, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Guys, somebody help me. Somebody help me. My thought just totally left me. Somebody please help me understand what I was just talking about. And what it had to do with ice Pikmin, or sorry, glow Pikmin. Anybody? Help? My next video? Was it In an answer to something? I'm sorry, I'm really confused. No problem, I don't want your phone to explode. Um, oh, okay, I remember. I'm sorry. My point for what I was about to say was in response to the fact that Nintendo named Pikmin 4 the way they did and then continued to be vague about the canonness and time placement. Right? So I was saying, like, my next theory deals with glow Pikmin, and I think the entire reason their classification is question marks is for the sole purpose of making them seem more mysterious than they actually are. I think there's nothing mysterious about them, and they're very, very explainable, as you'll see in my upcoming video. But I think that's why. I think they just tweak weird things just to make it confusing, or like just to make it more mysterious. But all it really does is make it more confusing. And then they say vague and cryptic stuff like it's up to everybody, when in reality, I think they just tweak so much that they no longer know themselves and don't want to make the commitment of pinning it somewhere. You feel like the Pikmin 4 timeline has Hey Pikmin in it because of the Master Onion having white and purple stripes and the human build structures. Pikmin 4 having Hey Pikmin in it is something that I could agree with if we agree that Hey Pikmin still happens as a daydream, because some characters reference, some characters reference buying Olimar a new ship once everything is over, and I think it's because his ship is destroyed, but them fixing it, I don't think would stop them from buying him a new one, because they still said they would buy him a new one, and the ship we see in Hey Pikmin, the Dolphin 2, runs off of Sparklium, just like the ships we see in Pikmin 4. So I think, after the Rescue Corps buys Olimar the Dolphin 2, he's just doing normal Hakate Freight stuff or going on vacation or something like he does, and the events of the game itself are a daydream he has while on his way back home. Ooh, it's funny how there are literal star bits from Mario Galaxy and sounds from Mario Galaxy, the Luma for Glow Pikmin, I think. Is this just a reference, or epic Mario Pikmin lore? Um, Seeing as how Miyamoto made both Pikmin and Mario, and also, aren't gratitude crystals are from Zelda, right? Which is also something Miyamoto made. Like, the 3 instances we see them in Nintendo games, they were all made by the same man, so it could just simply be a reference or something he personally likes. It could have further implications, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. I think it's just a reference. As for the Luma sound effects, I would have to. I don't remember right offhand. I'd have to listen and see what's up with those. I don't remember. Um, What about the Cupid's Grenade and the Ancient Statue Head and the Asteroid Pin Treasure? Those seem to heavily imply that Pikmin 1 and 2 have happened again. You'll have to be more... You'll have to elaborate. I'm not sure right off the top of my head what the implications of them are exactly. But yeah, Jello said that was their reaction since they saw glow pellets in the trailer. If any of you have been watching for that long, since the moment they showed night expeditions, I thought the same thing. I started calling them starbits before I knew what they were called, and it took me a while to start calling them glow pellets because I was so, used to calling them starbits at that point. If I had to eradicate one type, what would it be? A Pikmin type to eradicate. That's interesting. Honestly, I think they all have a unique enough place to where I could see keeping them, and the only one I could justify eradicating, I think, is Ice Pikmin. Because with or without them, set aside Hydro Jelly Bursts, with or without them, we can play Pikmin 4, you know? So, I think Ice Pikmin are the only ones that I could safely eradicate, despite me personally liking them a lot. In Mario Galaxy, there's a festival where starbits rain from the sky, which could mean something to do with Pikmin. Possibly, but I don't think so. It could be a clue at how the glow pellets get on the ground in the first place, because there are piles just scattered about, and there's not really an explanation for how those get there. They're just kind of there at night. So maybe in between sundown and nightfall, some fall from the sky. Does anybody know if the end of day screen where it shows nighttime, are there like a bunch of shooting stars or something? Because that could be the answer. Maybe they just fall from the sky. Formidable Oak is a giant luminal, and the Plasm Wraith is made of glow sap. I definitely think the Formidable Oak is a giant luminal. The Plasm Wraith being made from glow sap is interesting. I have to wait until my next couple of videos come out to comment on it too much, but I definitely think the Formidable Oak is absolutely a giant luminal. It's intentionally designed to look like a termite hill, and there are termite hills in the background. The luminal is also intentionally designed to look like a termite hill, and I don't think that is without merit. Like that's too direct of a connection for the Formidable Oak to not be a giant luminal. I think it's abandoned. I don't think there are any glow Pikmin functioning there at all, but possibly the Plasm Wraith is some sort of evolved glow sap. But if we knew more properties of glow sap, that would be nice, because then we could attribute them to the Plasm Wraith itself. But all we really know that it does is cure leaflings. Sap comes from trees also. It does, but the Formidable Oak is not a tree. It is specifically designed to be a termite mound. It does look like a cut down tree, but it's a termite mound. You feel like Moss helped the Dandori Master before he was a Leafling? It's possible. I think Moss was there for a long time. So it's possible they crossed paths at some point and possibly even worked together, but I think the Sirehound and the Sage are more closely connected, or possibly have a chance to have had worked together more than Moss and the Sage Leaf. Definitely add some background music. I intend to, but at the moment I'm only able to stream from my phone because my internet is terrible. So, and I don't know how to add background music to phone streams. So, once my internet is good and I can address that, then we will. But for right now, that's all I can do. Did I answer your question? I would have to look back and see what the question was. Oh, could all parasitic Pikmin be the same? Because, okay, I think I understand what you're saying, and what I would say is I think the base Pikmin is the same. I think it is the same, and I think it is a very... It's very fragile, which is the reason it needs a host in the first place, which is why it searches out things like a creature in the case of the Boldman, or it searches out things like ice or rock. And then I think whatever hermit Pikmin. That's why Bulbmin change their stem color when they're in the ground. Um, right, like it's a specific Pikmin that's taking in all of them. At least that's what I think. Um, and clearly they have some weird like Eevee type properties where whatever they decide to make their host, they take on the properties of, because the ice Pikmin never melt. They're like constantly cold. They can radiate their coldness, and that's not a natural property of ice. But we know that the ice Pikmin is whatever this base Pikmin is inside of like an ice body. So I think they take on whatever properties of the thing they go into, and that's probably why they can't come out of it. That would be my guess. Do I ever think we'll get an actual green Pikmin or just have glow Pikmin? I think we already did. It was the Bulbmin. They didn't look green, but I'm pretty sure their idle glow was green, and if you looked at them on the map, their dot was green. So we already have an established Pikmin that represents the color green, as well as the glow Pikmin. I don't think any more green things will be introduced. At the very most, maybe Bulbmin will come back. I don't think. Geez, I stumbled on that word hard. I don't think we're gonna get any future forms of green Pikmin besides the two that we already have. If parasitic Pikmin are just one type, how are their onions based on them? I mean, that's a good point. That is a good point. Seeing as how, I can't remember what entry it is, but somewhere one of the characters theorized that like the rock onion and the rock candy pop bud, for example, that some part of their existence is just harvesting rocks for the rock Pikmin to inhabit. Like, I don't think there's proof for it, but I think some characters thought that, thought that's how the rock onion works. If that's how the rock onion works, I would assume that's how the ice onion works, that maybe it procures water, makes it into ice, or just collects suitable ice somehow, and boom, the parasite Pikmin go into it. The reason there are different onions would be because the different the different hosts they decide to go into it. Let's see, a fruit both powerful and delicate, it reminds me of something I once read, and then it quotes the sales pitch directly from Pikmin 2. And that's for the Cupid's Grenade. And the sale pitch is like what the Hakatate ship describes it as, correct? If Pikmin 4 is a reboot, does Moss exist in the 1 through 3 timeline? I don't think so. I think we would have seen evidence for it. I guess it's possible she did, and the difference is, does Olimar meet her or not? Because in the end, what causes him to come back and crash is also meeting Moss. Like, meeting Moss allows him to fix his ship, but Moss is also what causes him to crash and become a Leafling. So, I don't know. I would say, if she does, then the key difference is whether or not he meets her. I'm sorry, I don't see it in chat. Flamsy, is the sales pitch you're referring to, is that what the Hakatate ship says? Would Leaflings even exist in the 1 through 3 timeline? Yes, they would exist in the 1 through 3 timeline because we see Olimar become a version of one at the end of Pikmin 1. I think it only happens when a character is in full life support mode. That's why in those same games you can put Olimar to sleep and then he goes to the onion and then bounces off of it. It's because he's not, he's not in a life support state, but all the characters that do get turned into Pikmin Leaflings are in a life support state, and I think that is what's required for them to become a Leafling, which is why we see it at the end of Pikmin 1 when Olimar crashes and his life support runs out, but not in any of the other games because none of their life supports run out. Yes, the Hakatate ship. Okay, so let me look up what that is. I'll have to look up what the Hakatate ship says about it. Okay. So does anybody It could be that the onion is knowingly doing it, but I'm pretty sure every instance where somebody is turned into a leafling, they are in life support mode. I think there's like a direct connection. I don't think we've seen any character get turned into a leafling while not under life support, and it even holds true for Pikmin 1. So I guess it could be, but I think the connection is more direct. On Hakatate, the ancient statue head is almost as popular as the gyroid bust. The statue oozes a mysterious aura, so the competition between the two makes sense. I mean, we see examples of treasure hunters. Okay, so what I would say, at least in reference for the ancient statue head, I guess it could also apply to Cupid's grenade. We see literal treasure hunters on PNF 404 that are there collecting treasure. I think, and we know that the Sage Leaf was there before everybody else, and that the Sage Leaf trained somebody before everybody else. So it is clear that people are going and coming from PNF 404 already. I don't think all of them crashed. I do think some of them crashed, which is why the Sage Leaf exists. But I think people are going back and forth, to the thing. By the time the rescue corps gets there, there's a decent amount of time between Olimar's SOS and the time they arrive, right? Is that like another 30 days? Or am I mistaken? Because basically what I'm getting to, the character that's a construction worker says that he saw PNF 404 on the news, and the reason that he came there was because he knew people would want to move there, and he wanted to be like one of the first people there, right? So if he saw it on the news, people are already on the planet broadcasting it. The news crew or the film crew we know about, their cameras and stuff are broken. They're not the ones doing it. Somebody else came there, they filmed the planet, and they made a news broadcast of it that reached planets out there, which is the reason the construction guy is even there in the first place. I think it is safe to assume, that at the point that this happens, people are going and coming from PNF 404. The reason that the gyroid bust would be popular on Hakatate is because somebody already went there and sold it. Why couldn't they film the planet from space? I mean, I suppose they could, but I think he references scenery. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he does. I don't know if just showing a planet is enough to do it, and um, also like if they went there to film and crashed, I don't think they were doing a lot of filming it from space. Was it just the film crew, or was there a film crew and a news crew? Because I only remember the film crew, and I think they were there to do a documentary or a report on it that they didn't do yet. I think one of the characters that are in it specifically says that they didn't do it yet, but I may be mistaken. I think one of the female members of the film crew says that their cameras broke before they were able to do anything. So I think somebody else was there doing it beforehand, which is the reason some characters are there. Um, in Pikmin 4, Olimar also has the formidable oak log that states how he fell in battle against a creature and got carried to the onion. I, I'm not sure, I haven't seen this log. Could somebody link it or something? I'm not sure. Um, um, he says he got carried to the onion. He fell in battle against a creature and got carried to the onion. But does it reference the formidable oak at all? Because when Olimar fell to the Plasm Wraith didn't carry him to an onion, and I don't think the Copites did either. They just carried him back to the base, like to the Drake's pod. So, what's up, Peach? Um, if 2 and 4 are in the same timeline, would that mean the Dweevil was controlled by Louis? I already think he is, and I think I already think he was controlling it even before Pikmin 4. I think Pikmin 2 tries to allude to that with the whole, like, King of Bugs thing, and I think Louis doing what he does with the Sire Hound is just Pikmin 4's version of that, of like Louis taking control of the powerful creature down in the cave and using it against the player because he doesn't want to leave. It's like the same verbatim thing that happens. The only difference is the animal and like the circumstances. Um, no problem. Thanks for dropping by. I forgot the log also says it was a dream, but the same log is found in 3 and 4. What does anybody have like the entire quote? Because I don't know what the log is. I'm sorry. Like I because if it says he fell in battle against a creature and got carried to the onion, who knows? Maybe at the same point in time that his life support ran out, something carried him to the onion. Because, like I said, when he falls to the Plasm Wraith, he isn't. The Plasm Wraith doesn't take him to an onion, and neither do the Copites. Hmm. Does anybody know the quote? This is gonna be one of the last things we discuss. I gotta go in like 5-10 minutes, guys. Um, if somebody crashed before Captain Olimar, where would their ship have crash landed? Literally anywhere. I think the Sage Leaf absolutely crashed before Olimar, and I mean, all the castaways crashed, like all of their ships broke down and crashed somewhere. We don't see a single one of them set aside from the Dolphin and the SS Shepherd. We don't see a single crashed castaway ship anywhere. So, I mean, people easily could have crashed before Olimar on the other side of the planet, or their ships landed somewhere else just like they do in Pikmin 4. I often encounter comets and meteors on the job, and collisions are bound to happen. I once had to make a crash landing for that very reason. I don't think that that's proof of Pikmin 1 at all. He says he often encounters them and collisions are bound to happen. So I think that could be in reference to any time. Like, if it's a common occurrence, I think it could be a reference to any time. I don't know. I mean, he says I once had to make a crash landing for that very reason, but there's no allusion to, like, him being there before. It just says that he crashed before, so I don't know. If they're common, and he encounters them on the job often, I don't know. I would say it could be a reference to anything, but it does sound like Pikmin 1. I don't know if that means it is Pikmin 1, though. Okay, let's see if I can find this. Let's see. Summoning to another nightmare. I had a horrific dream last night. After I met my doom facing off against a creature, the Pikmin carried me back to their onion. I often thought that we might share a powerful bond, but perhaps that was only wishful thinking. I don't know, that doesn't, like, even if it was found in Twilight River, that doesn't tell me Plasm Wraith. It doesn't tell me anything. It just tells me he had a nightmare about facing off against a creature. A lot of times, enemies in Pikmin 4 are referred to as beasts and creatures, so it could be anything. The Pikmin carried him back to their onion. I mean, to me, it sounds like I forgot to include number 72 in evidence of onions and Pikmin influencing people's mind, because Shepard also has a nightmare that she's attacked by Pikmin. Olimar has a nightmare that he's defeated and carried to the onion by Pikmin, which is the process of creating a leafling, as we all know. It seems like being around Pikmin and the onions causes people to have nightmares about them. I can't remember for sure, but I think Louis also references a nightmare. I don't know. He wasn't on the job in Pikmin 1, though, so it can't be an illusion. Let's see. That's... When does she say that? Yeah, Shepard, I think it's in one of the in-between day cutscenes, but she's, like, screaming, like, get back, and Colin, like, wakes her up and is like, what's going on? And she clarifies that she was having a dream that, Pikmin had come onto the ship and were basically, like, backing her up into the corner or something. It is weird that in Pikmin 4, not even one ship crashes in the same area as you. The only two are the Shepherd and the Dolphin. They crash directly next to a red onion. The other ships we don't know about. So is that quote, the today I had a terrifying dream, a dream in which Pikmin were carrying me back to the onion after I had been ravaged by a creature, is that from... That's the log from 3? Today I had a terrifying dream, a dream in which Pikmin were carrying me back to the onion after I had been ravaged by creatures. I thought I shared a strong bond with them, but maybe that was just me wishful thinking. I might have to start sleeping with one eye open. To me, it just seems like it's referencing the fact that the Pikmin will turn them into leaflings if they're defeated. It doesn't seem to reference anything like other than that. Does it choose people who it thinks are competent to be captains or something? Do the onions choose who it wants to crash near it? It's an interesting question. I think the leafling process in its entirety is like the way of determining if they're going to be good leaders or not. And whether or not they're good leaders, like if they fall in battle, then clearly there was some sort of shortcoming. But the Pikmin still turn them into leaflings where they become fully dedicated to taking care of their Pikmin and Dandori, which is like improvement. So I don't think it really matters. I think they just pick people and then use who they can. And if they don't make it, then they get turned into leaflings and they keep getting used. Why does the onion not turn Olimar into Louis into a leafling in Pikmin 2 when they lay down? I've answered this a bunch. It's because they are not in a life support state. Every single time we see a character get turned into a leafling in Pikmin 4, they are in a life support state. They either went into a cave and went into life support state, or were already in one and then were dragged into an onion. The only time we ever see a character go into a life support state in the original trilogy is the bad ending of Pikmin 1, where Olimar is put into an onion and then comes out with a leaf on his head. So I think the reason that they go into it and then bounce out are probably that's why. Check Discord. Okay. You'll have to give me a minute. I normally use my phone for Discord, but I'm using that for streaming right now, so. Do I think there's a limit on how many times you can become a leafling? No, I don't think so. If Yanni's cure fully removes all of that DNA from your body, then no, but possibly having the cure in your body would prevent you from becoming a leafling again. So maybe the cure itself is the limit. Let's see. I'm trying to go between Discord and chat, sorry. Yeah, everybody should go join Discord who's here, if you're not already in there. And for whatever reason, Discord does not want to open on my computer, so I'm sorry about that. Flamsy, is the thing you sent me on Discord pertinent to the stream? Like, do I need to check it before I end the stream? Because it's about the time that I was going to be ending, but I can hold off for a couple minutes if it needs to be addressed. You really want to see Louis' side of Pikmin 4? It's just about the shepherd dream? Okay, let's see. It won't load. I'm sorry, I'll have to check it afterwards. Did I get it right about the dream? Like, she had a nightmare that she was being... When you unlock the debt dream, about the dialogue where Olimar has a dream that Louis does something. So, okay. Discord isn't opening at the moment, but did I get the gist of the dream right? That I believe she says Pikmin are coming onto the ship. Could the other castaways control the Pikmin, or would they be too scared? Um, it doesn't specify, but I do remember a dialogue where she's like in the middle of having a nightmare and Colin wakes her up. Like that does happen. And she talks about what she's dreaming about, I'm pretty sure. Um, I think Peach knows what I'm talking about. They backed me up. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't open out like that. She's like in the middle of like yelling out loud or whatever. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. And like Colin wakes her up because he thinks something is wrong. Where do all the castaways go at night? Um, they're in caves, right? They're all in caves. I'm pretty sure the deal is that they retreat to caves when it becomes night. The saved ones. So you mean like the castaways that have become leaflings? Where do they go at night? Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. Um, when you go out and do night expeditions, are they gone? I'm pretty sure they're out there when you leave. They probably just. I think they probably just sleep outside. Like, they probably just lay down where they're at. Um, and just go to sleep. Because it's a safe area, and it's not like they hadn't been sleeping outside already, or in a cave or whatever. But that specific area of the map we know is safe for whatever reason, enemies don't go there. See you later. This is also probably a decent time to end the stream. I was planning on doing this one for about an hour, and we're a little over an hour now, so I think it's a good time to end it. Sleeping on the ground sounds like a Dundori issue. Yes, absolutely. Do I have Pikmin stuffies? No, but I wish I did. Every time I find some to order, they are always so unbelievably expensive. I have not found any that I can get that aren't just outrageous. I'm hoping with the popularity of Pikmin 4, they will make a bunch of new ones. But I don't know. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to call it here, guys. Thank you everybody for joining. It was awesome to be able to sit and talk with you all for a while. Hopefully, the next one should be going. It should be going a lot smoother than this one. So, yeah, there won't be as much confusion, and it'll be scheduled better so that more people can show up. I did forget to announce this one in the Discord, as I think Peach made me aware. I am very sorry for all the Discord people. I totally forgot to announce this one. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I've got for this stream. Stay tuned. Variety Television will be right back.